ongoing for the next couple. Stepping stones, you really need leg or leg-like appendages for getting through corners, being able to turn in place. Human can turn on a dime. Next. Drawing under objects. So maybe these are some of the things we need to do in the next challenge. Next one. And then reaching high places. So this kind of shows that you're going to have a small base of support to get places, but in order to do useful work, you need appendages high in the air. So you're going to have a high center of mass and have to balance that high center of mass over a small base of support, and that's where the challenge is. Next slide, please. And humans are just incredible where they can get. We are both quadrupeds and bipeds. We can get just about anywhere on the land. And when we want to get to air and sea, and space, or whatever, we become hybrids by just strapping on our technology. So next slide, please. Okay, so there's other hazardous environments like power plant inspection, construction. There will be police and military operations that these robots are useful for. And a big one, I think, would be Mars exploration. We're going to be sending thousands of robots to Mars. A few of those might be humanoid in form, like to set up, to do precursor missions, set things up for humans and maintain them so that the humans can be scientists rather than construction workers. Next slide. Here's a common disaster of an environment. That's certainly a disaster environment. But you can see some of the things that the human form are really good for. Getting over things and between things. And then once you get to your destination, being able to grab an object very high or very low. Okay, next slide, please. So this is where we were in November. This is the day before our robot got taken away for upgrades. So the upgrades took a couple months. And so at this point, this was a kind of a little contest we had with Carnegie Mellon University. We set up a mock trial and sent videos to each other. So at that point, we were able to do most of the tasks except for the driving tasks. That we really didn't get to until about a month and a half ago. So after the stairs, we elected to not do the debris and chose the train instead. But we are capable of doing the debris. We do have a few semi-autonomous behaviors that are automatically picking up the debris. As far as autonomy goes, we mostly had the human do all the perception, and the human had a library of kind of autonomous behaviors that were somewhat scripted. But what the way it would work is the human would place out an object like a door object on top of LiDAR points, and then let the autonomy play through. But while the autonomy was playing through, kind of supervising anytime anything went wrong, the human could jump in and modify what the autonomy was. Okay, thanks. One of our secret sauces was compliant control. It's very important for unstructured environments when you don't have a perfect model of what's going on to be able to comply to it. So when you're walking over on pieces of wood or your foot's slipping and things like that. So we try to avoid doing stiff position control of our robot and instead try to control the overall balance of the body by using force control that's distributed through the legs. So we don't really care what the angle of the knee is or the ankle or anything like that. We just want the leg to be providing a certain force on the body to correct for things like the orientation of the body and the balance. We also use some compliant control for the driving task. As we're turning the steering wheel, we would be compliant inside towards the middle of the steering wheel, so that if we kind of were off where our steering was, it would just kind of be flopping that direction, but stiff around the steering wheel. And then manipulation tasks, if we were like turning the valve and all of a sudden we were pushing too hard on it, the way we were compliant is by looking at our balance. If our balance was off by a certain amount, then it would just kind of give in and stop the action. Let the operator know, hey, I'm pushing too hard, and then the operator would adjust. And that can save our high performance. Next, please. I won't get into too many technical details. We have a whole body motion control framework. Very similar to what a few of the other teams are using, and my team's seen you. Next slide, please. if anybody's interested in hearing more about both ours, MIT, CU, and a few other people around the world who use this sort of technique, we had a workshop a while ago, and you can watch all the videos. Next slide, please. Okay, so another one of our secret sauces is we call capturability-based control. So walking is really complicated, but it really can, the hard part of walking, the balance, can be reduced to a single degree of freedom, linear first order system that's real simple to analyze. If you look at this thing, what we call the instantaneous capture point, which is simply where your center of mass is, plus about 0.3 times your velocity for a human-sized thing. And that point, whereas your center of mass is making very wavy motions as you're walking, that point kind of follows straight lines from foot to foot. And by controlling that, you can balance. So on the right, you see kind of a whole bunch of overhead views. The yellow target and the blue target are the desired instantaneous capture point and the actual achieved, and that's what we're controlling. And then using the center of pressure on our foot to kind of guide that to the next footstep. If we get to a point where the next footstep is no longer good because we got pushed and we can't get the instantaneous capture point there, then we'll say, look, emergency, move your foot somewhere else and step there instead. So that's kind of our push recovery methodology. Next slide, please. Okay, so we're really interested in co-exploration, having humans and machines work together. And a lot of times when humans and machines are working together, the humans are very frustrated. You hear them say, what's the robot doing? Why is it doing that? What's it going to do next? How can I make it do something that I want it to do? So what we do is take an approach where we're continuously answering all those questions. Next slide, please. So we want everything to be observable, predictable, and directable. So we have a lot of visualizations, a lot of things that the operator sees. Anytime there's autonomy, we want to see what the autonomy is doing. We want to predict it. So anytime the autonomy is about to make a motion, before it happens, we can push the key on the keyboard, and we'll see a preview of what's going to happen. And if it doesn't look good, then the operator will jump in and adjust it a little bit. So, for example, if the robot's going to hit the wall with its elbow. And then directability. Anytime the autonomy is going, human can jump in. Next slide, please. Okay, good quote of Ben Franklin is, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. We kind of take that on its ear. If you go to the next slide, please. And like Mike Johnson likes to say, if you don't plan to fail, you fail to plan. Robots are going to fail, right? And if you try to make a fully autonomous system where you just hit the button and say, complete mission, come back in a few days, something's going to go wrong. So you want to make sure that you avoid autonomy surprises and always have the stakeholders know what the autonomy is doing. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a pretty long video, but like 5 minutes or so, showing our operator interface from yesterday. Let's see here. So this is picking up the drill. And so we have a library of how to pick up the drill. What the operator does is place the target out saying where the drill is. But now it wasn't going so well, so he had to kind of adjust it a little bit to pick it up. We have an automatic tool, automatic drill turner on, so when the robot grabs the drill, if he grabs it just right, the button gets pressed with a little 3D printed thing you have on a hand. So that saves us some time. Now he's drilling the wall. And here what we do is instead of doing a circle, we've got like a hexagon we cut out. It's not the best of cuts, but it works pretty well. And it's just going through its behavior. In the upper right, you see kind of that yellow box with a bunch of green dots and the yellow and blue dot is our balance overhead view of where the feet are. And you don't hear it here, but there's also a beep, beep, beep whenever the balance gets off. There you see the robot's pushing too hard, the blue and yellow dot, and at this point you hear beep, 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 beep. And that means the robot's about to push itself over. So the operator jumps in and adjusts where the wall is. So what happened was the LiDAR points are off or something, and if you see that black square with the X in it, the big circle, that's the operator had placed that on the LiDAR points before the task, and then all of our autonomy is based on that. So he puts out a drill object, he puts out a wall object, and then he says, okay, start the task. And the robot will take the footsteps, start doing things, and the operator jumps in probably about once every minute, 30 30 seconds, but sometimes he'll just take over and say, okay, it's not working, I'm just jumping in. And that's where planning to fail really comes in. And we say, if all things go heck, just jump in, take your time, and but you're still controlling at a pretty high level, giving commands like where you want your hand, and things like that. Not commanding individual joining those, although we can go to that level too. Let's can you fast forward back to where we were there? So it should be about, at the end there was the driving. Any way you can do that? All right, well, I'll just keep on going here. So here's some of the take-home messages. I think the DRC is really showing that humanoid robots are not less of science fiction or science fact. Next slide, please. And I think stakeholders, policymakers, the public, everybody needs to start taking humanoid robots more seriously. I'll admit I've been working on this stuff for about 20 years, and it's been pretty much a joke up to now. But I think we're getting to the point where these things are reality, and it elicits an emotional response, and because these robots look so human and whatnot. So I think even though they're still not a joke, we should joke about them. Next slide, please. And it's okay to joke about them to relieve our stress of the unknown. Next slide, please.
Actually, it's real. Take a look at this robot. Yeah, who can forget that iconic scene in Karate Kid where Daniel's like,
I'd like to thank DARPA and our two sponsors, Amazon and Atlassian. Atlassian makes a lot of real cool software tools we use. We employ an agile programming technique where we have iteration meetings every couple of weeks. And we have the whole team kind of decide on what the most important things for the next 2 weeks are to do. And then during those 2 weeks, each day, each individual picks what news or story they're going to work on for that day. And it works really well, and we use the Atlassian tools to coordinate all that. And then we also have an automatic build server that every time we check in software, automatically pulls the code, compiles it, runs our 3,000 test cases that we run on a server farm of 12 computers in about 10 minutes. And that also include end-to-end tests where a robot will walk over like a full set of train, generate a video, and put it on our so that we can see it on the screen. So every morning when we walk in, we can just look at the videos of yesterday and see that, oh geez, the robot's looking now, something happened, quickly track down what changed. So that's been really helpful. Thank you.